That's why we're calling it the battleground for ideas. Hello there again. Good to see you on Prime Insights. A lot of stories making the rounds for this week, but we've been able to sieve out the most topical ones for us this weekend to discuss. And of course, there are three key issues happening. President John Dramani Mahama returning to the country after his tour to parts of Southeast Asia. But that is coming along with a number of issues. The president now confirming to the country that he will not be a candidate for elections in 2028. Initially, there were concerns that, of course, with a supermajority in Parliament, the NDC might be reaching out for a far and deep-cutting reforms to the Constitution, which will permit an individual, and ostensibly the presidential candidate or the President of the Republic, to run for a third term through the window of a constitutional review, which is currently underway. But the president is allaying fears and indicating to us that, look, I won't be a candidate going into that 2028 elections just so I can focus on fiscal discipline and bringing the economy back on track. So what will be the implication, and what is this making of the constitutional review process so far? These are questions coming up, and this morning we'll be getting a sense of what's been happening at the level of the Constitutional Review Committee, and then we'll be digging into whether or not the president or in its entirety, the presidential term limits should be taking off. So we allow a president of the Republic to run for 3 terms or otherwise. My guest will be dealing with that shortly. Then there's Akwetia by-election also in the Ghana. Next week, of course, the two political parties will be slugging it out in that constituency. Already, there's a lot of tension on the ground. So we'll be telling you about it and what both political parties feel about this upcoming by-elections, with the minority leader, for instance, saying that the NDC is not being considerate, and we'll tell you why. Also, there is the issue about the primaries within the New Patriotic Party. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has finally, once again, picked up his forms, joining 3 other individuals who are challenging his position, of course, to run as the flag bearer of the party in the upcoming elections in 2028. We'll tell you about what all of these candidates have been saying about each other and why they believe that they should be the ones to be giving the opportunity to run the affairs of the NPP going into the 2028 elections. But even the bigger question, will the NPP survive the 2028 elections as a unified front? All of these issues are on the table for discussion this morning, and you can always be a part of it as we, of course, commence the conversation. Those of you online can send us your comments, send us your thoughts and your contributions. We'll read them out on the show. Solomon Owusu is a member of the Movement for Change, and of course, he needs no introduction because he's so passionate about issues of national discourse. We've been tracking him, chasing him. In fact, at some point, we had to order for a private jet to bring him into the country. Solomon, it's good to see you.
It's good to be here. Blessed.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Your baptism of fire on Prime Insights. Yes. We hope to be seeing you on Saturday mornings because your co-conspirator, Ivan Che, is also with us. And
yes.
He's another firebrand, you agree?
So once he's here, I mean, it's okay.
Anyway, Ivan Che is also a youth activist joining the conversation this morning. Ivan, good morning to you and welcome. So we'll be digging into it. Let's do that right now because I want us to start off with the presidential term limits. The Constitutional Review Committee is already underway with their work, but this is what I want us to focus on. Article 66 of the Ghanaian Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, and what it says about a presidential term limit. You have that on the screens now, for those of you watching at home. It says that a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he was sworn in as president. Now, 2 talks about the fact that a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of the Republic of Ghana for more than 2 terms. It's clear when you come to Article 66(2). It's very clear over there. Then the office of the president shall become vacant on the expiration of the period specified, which is not more than two terms, as is stated in that document. And if the incumbent dies, resigns from office, or ceases to hold office under Article 69 of this Constitution, the president made by writing, signed by him, and addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, resigned from office as president. So it's clear in Article 66 of the Constitution that you cannot run for more than 2 terms. But we know that there's a constitutional review process going on. How far have we come with that? We'll be finding out shortly, because the Secretary to the Constitutional Review Committee will be joining us to update us. But I just want to pick your thoughts on that before we have him join us and explain what's been happening so far. But okay, gentlemen, you have to wait briefly. Let me just go online and bring him on. Dr. Reina Akumperega, who's the Secretary to the Presidential Constitutional Review Committee. Thank you so much, Doc, for spending some time with us as early as this 7 a.m. We understand that there was a lot happening over the weekend. Just yesterday, and it will be running into the weekend, because you're doing quite a lot when it comes to constitutional review. But a lot of Ghanaians have been wondering, ever since your last appearance as a committee, we've not heard so much from you in terms of the activities you've been carrying out, and whether or not we're still on course in terms of the constitutional review. What have you been up to so far as a committee? And kindly unmute for us, Dr. Reina, so we can hear the points you're sharing with us. Dr. Reina, we're having a challenge hearing you. I don't know if you could kindly unmute so we can hear the points you're sharing with us. We seem to be having a connection challenge there to Dr. Reina. But of course, Solomon Owusu, let me just give you the first take and bite into that. The Constitution is clear. Article 66(2), not more than 2 terms, it says. The president says he's not running in 2028. Some people have been pushing the agenda online as well, and I'm sure you've seen all of that.
Yes.
What do we do with this whole call and push for a 3rd term?
I mean, blessed good morning to you and your cherished viewers. I was very surprised to hear people conjecture that the president was thinking about running for a 3rd term. Right. I mean, what was the need when the Constitution was so clear? Some of us would have chased him out. I mean...
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, they would have chased him out. He has no business contemplating even contesting for the 3rd term. 2 terms are enough for anybody that wants to do serious business with this country.
Many will challenge you on that when you say 2 terms is enough. We've heard, for instance, President John Ajay say at some point that, look, extend even this 4-year thing, because it's not enough for a president. You win an election, you come in, you want to settle, and for the first year, you're looking at who you want to appoint, who you want to bring in. It's challenging, isn't it? Why not extend and give an ample time to the person to deliver?
So you are missing the point. Right. The focus must not be on the president. The focus must be on the state. And that is why when you read the directive principles of state policies, Article 36 is very clear. It mentions state. So instead of focusing on the president, we must focus on building stronger institutions, so that whoever is occupying the position is implementing policies that have been outlined by the state, and that we will not feel your presence. Granted, you are the best president, so when you die, the country will come to a standstill? No way. And so we must. There is a reason why the 1969 Constitution also made it clear that every president must have 2 terms, and this was repeated in the 1992 Constitution. This, I thought, was coming from the opposition party, especially the New Patriotic Party. They were pushing the agenda, but I found it very, very interesting, because here was a candidate, here was a president, John Mahama, whom the party, the MPP, said it defeated him in 2012. Remember, the party went to the Supreme Court to challenge his election, that indeed they won. Here was someone that they defeated beautifully in 2016 by a whooping gap of almost 1 million. So if this person had even the intention of contesting for the 3rd term, I thought the opposition would be happy, because you believe that he is never a match for you. But they were pushing their agenda. But it's good that, though for me it was needless, that he has come out, because there was no...
You feel it was needless for the president to say that?
Because the Constitution is so clear.
This is the thing. This is an NDC that has a super majority in Parliament, 2/3. They could do anything with that number. if we're to change this entrenched clause, there could be a referendum.
Yes.
What if we go to a referendum?
Yes.
And judging by the numbers the NDC has in Parliament, it means they are very popular now. And we go for a referendum, and that referendum says, we want the president to run for a third term. There's nothing you can do. You can't chase out the president.
Believe me, they are all members of Parliament would have voted against it. A lot of
even
them,
NDC MPs?
Yes, a lot of them in there also wants to be president. Make no mistake.
Oh, really?
They are in politics. And in politics, the ultimate goal is to be a president. You understand? So you cannot just say that because they are members of the NDC, issues like that, they will toe the party line. And the entire country as well. I mean, if you go back to the people of this country, it would have been very difficult for them to have secured the sort of votes to enable a third term. But why would we go through such a lengthy and unnecessary pain when 2 terms will be enough, whatever you want to do? After all, the president is working now. Whatever he has for this country, he has today to do it, not tomorrow. You get my point?
You feel 3 years is enough for John Mahama?
Oh, yes. It's more than enough. And he must make sure that 1,480 days, he is able to implement whatever he wishes to do.
You won't give him an extra day?
No. It will be more than. He would have been tired. He himself would have been tired.
But who told you John Mahama is tired?
I believe he will be tired after 2 terms. I believe he will be tired. Whatever ideas he has, by 2 terms, he would have exhausted it. What else? You look at what is happening in Cameroon, you look at what is happening in Equatorial Guinea, all of them, you look at the president, you see that they are tired, they are bereft of the ideas. So you have to exit the scene to allow fresh blood to come into the picture.
Are you not seeing this because of Alan Chermating? The fact that he says he's coming in 2028?
No, but he contested, first of all, John Mahama contested in 2028, does not mean Alan will not contest. And there is no clear-cut a rule that once President Mahama is in the picture, Alan will lose. After all, Mahama has gone into an election, lost, and won some. So there is no clear-cut rule that once he's in the fray, he will win. And whether or not even granting him the third term, he would have made any impact, will depend on how well he performs with the second term. Is that not the case? So our election is moving from this fanfare into now idea-based. What did you promise? What did you deliver? That is the only way we can ask it to move forward as a country. Other than that, nobody must fantasize himself or think that, oh, it's a done deal. No, perform and your mandate will be renewed.
John Mahama is the darling boy now, isn't it?
He is for now, but he has 1,480 days to sustain that or to disgrace himself. Now I believe that all of us have to help him to rule this country very well so that he can exit peacefully. That is what we pray for him. But he must not be thinking. And I believe that he has never thought of it. People were just pushing to test the waters, and thankfully he has come out to clear the air that that is not his mindset.
Ivan, do you think it was necessary for the president to have made the comments in the first place?
I think it's very important because communication is quite key.
Right.
So distilling that kind of misinformation that was running around was very important. My argument has always been that constitutions are supposed to be a living document reflecting the daily aspirations and the wishes of the people. So the socio-cultural dynamics and the phenomenon at a time must influence how the constitution is structured in order to promote or streamline development. But this third-term presidency has never been on the table. It's just a speculative spin set in motion by some conspiracy theorists. And I think it got some grounds. It's the reason why the president had to just intervene by clearing the air that indeed there hasn't been anything of a sort on the table. For me, we need to focus on things that will bring us development. If you look at our current constitution, there are several portions of it that we can admittedly argue that they've outlived their usefulness relative to time and that there is the need for us to go through a process to review. It's the reason why the Constitutional Review Committee has been set in motion to work on some of these provisions just to ensure that they give it a bit of a touch to have some reflection with time. And I think that is very, very important. But you see, our problem is not third-term presidency. It is about building frameworks that will sustain long-term development. And for me, that is what we need to focus on for now. That is what we need to do now, building framework and institutions that will sustain long-term development. And that has been our problem. Over the years, our national agenda is has always been terminated by the tenure of a particular president. For instance, a particular developmental project will be underway. The very moment the president or the government loses power, then it terminates everything. We need to go beyond party politics and begin to look at the national developmental agenda. Fortunately for us, we have the National Development Plan, but we don't use it, you understand? So I think the focus should be on how we can design a plan, a strategy that will be a long-term focus, short-term, long-term, medium-term, that kind of focus, so that the development will have some kind of sustainability in terms of how various political parties work on it. But unfortunately for us, that has never been the focus. We focus on how political parties will push in their ideas, whether they are positive or not, whether they have some sort of a positive impact on the long-term development of the country or not. It has always been about putting in things that we can easily cash in the political capital out of it. So I know that
Solomon also says that he would have chased out President Mahama if that idea was floated around.
Oh, sure. Because the very moment...
Do you feel there'll be consensus that, well, we won't allow you to run for a third term?
I'm not sure it would have been necessary, because once you float such a discussion, it robs you of credibility, especially when we are in a sub-region where similar instances has caused a lot of constitutional truncation in Africa. There are some of the military junta you see around Africa were brought forth because of some of these deliberate attempts to massage and maneuver the constitution. Recent example has to do with what happened in Cote d'Ivoire. We have one at Guinea and several other examples. So these are the realities that we are living, and the president is privy to some of these things. And he made a categorical promise to the people of this country. I'm privy to the fact that it has left with just a 4th term, and I'm going to work and finish what I started some time ago. So that promise was sold to Ghanaians. Ghanaians bought it with trust. So if you go beyond it, or you decide to do any other thing, you betray the trust people repose in you. You understand? So
are you saying that it's not possible? I mean, the whole idea no, that it's not possible.
It's not about being possible or not being possible. It is about we did some sort of a framework we've set for ourselves. And I think we need to. And as we speak, there is no need for a 3rd term presidency. There is no need for it.
Are you saying that two terms is enough?
For me, it's enough.
8 years?
Yes, it's not about that.
It's not even up to 10.
No, we are focusing on the tenure because we don't have a long-term developmental agenda. If you go to the United States of America, whoever becomes president has no consequential effect on how the machineries that run the American economy, so far as the machineries are concerned. You understand?
But we don't have that.
That is why we need to. We cannot just run away from our troubles and begin to build some conveniences or cut conveniences. It means that now that we have realized that we just have 8 terms or 4 terms for our president, there is the need for us to focus and build a long-term developmental agenda that will have various political parties and whoever want to be president. We all agree on that this is what we want to do in the next 10 years.
The kind of victory NDC enjoyed in the last election, if that's anything to go by, people would say, well, they would have the support.
No. You see, if you go to Article 290, that deals with entrenched clauses, you need to go through a hell of a process to have that particular.
Are you sure they won't make that test? Because if in the elections they were able to scale the 50% mark.
75%, yes. No political party is going to have that. It's not, even if not political party, you can't have it. You understand?
You feel it's next to impossible.
Exactly, especially when you don't have any tangible reason to back it. What would be the message? What would the NDC or any other person who want to float that particular idea, what would be the message to back this whole thing?
This is John Mahama we are talking about.
No. You see, I believe in the fact that the little time you have, make the little impact you can, leave the stage while the applause is louder and go. Do the little that you can. You see, and President Mahama can equally make massive contribution to the development of this country by sitting on the sidelines as former president. President Akufo-Addo today, if he has something, he can whisper to whoever that is president. You don't need to be there in person. That is the kind of thing, the practice that has given this whole lot of unstable kind of situation in the sub-region. You recently witnessed what happened in Togo. It's because of the same thing. There will be mass agitation, and if you are not careful, our democracy will terminate at that point. I believe in that democratic institution must be sustained by trust and public confidence. And some of the ways that we can do it by ensuring that we go by our words. We cannot cut corners and buy conveniences because the time is right for us. As politicians, we need to build that kind of we need to build trust, confidence, and some kind of personal principles must come to bear in situations like this. You don't come in because there are conveniences or you think you can easily cut corners. That has never been on the table, and I'm not sure President Mahama has ever even conceived the idea of ever coming to contest for a third term, because there is no way Ghanaian would.
You're all saying this probably because I'm putting President Mahama in the picture. I would want us to move and look at two terms, as to whether or not objectively that's enough for any president. Awal Mohammed is a member of the NPP National Communication Team. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'll come to you shortly and then the rest of our panel. But let's go online. Dr. Reina Akomperega is Executive Secretary to the Constitutional Review Committee. I believe we have a stable connection to you now, sir. Good morning to you and welcome to Prime Insight.
Good morning, and if you can hear me, I think yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. And thanks so much for spending some time with us, because we understand you've been doing quite a lot overnight. And doing quite a lot as a constitutional review committee altogether. And that's why we're so interested in what you've done so far, because the president is saying he won't contest in 2028. There's a bigger picture even around presidential term limits and the need for some constitutional reforms, because it's not just the former president who's concerned about this. Even former President John Akufo-Addo has spoken about it before, floating the idea that possibly we should have maybe a longer one term, maybe 5, 6, 8 years, one term, you serve and then you go. So you have some level of stability and assurance in governance. So many ideas have been floated around. So we want to hear exclusively from the committee what you've done so far, so that will inform the inputs from Solomon, Ivan, and Awal, who are in studio with us. What have you been up to so far?
Right. Thank you so much, good morning to the panelists and to your viewers. I have to start by saying that it's also a privilege for us to give some indication of the work we've done, where we are, and possibly to touch on the subject that is on the table right now in terms of presidential term limits. There are issues that we have been discussing. I think even regarding the president itself, there are more substantive issues that even we should focus our attention on, and just not how long a president stays in office, but whilst he stays in office, how he governs the country, the accountability principles, how we get the best out of that office, and how that inures to the total development and inclusive development of the entire country, to ensure that the democracy that we're practicing is fruitful and that it is meaningful to the average Ghanaian. I think so. There has to be an overarching subject matter of the democracy and not just the presidency. But it's an important topic nonetheless, because people have raised the term limit. But if I look at what you have said, you've raised two things together. There's the element of term limit and the constitutionality of it. That is one aspect of it. People have raised issues as to some uncertainty or whether or not there's an interpretive issue regarding the article that provides for term limits for our president. It's not everyone that is on board on this. It is not everyone that thinks that we definitely have an interpretive issue. The fact that someone wants an extension of the term limit doesn't mean there's an interpretation for us to do. Remember also that a constitution is drawn based also on history, on precedent, and then in the matter of context. Constitutions don't exist because we have constitutions. Constitutions emerge out of history. They emerge out of practice, prevailing practice, our history, and the specific history from which the Constitution has emerged. So in interpreting a particular provision of the Constitution, we have to have regard to all of these ingredients and factors.
This is what I'm interested in. So yeah, you've helped us to break down the issue. First, on the issue about ambiguity or otherwise of the constitutional provision. Let's tackle that one. Are you saying that Article 66 is clear from the perspective of the committee, that there's no need for either judicial review, judicial interpretation, or whatever it might be that will necessitate the need for us to know if it's clear enough? as to whether or not 2 consecutive terms for a president, 2 terms, or more than 4 years, or more than 8 years. So what's the committee's position on that one?
Let me say that the committee would not make known its deliberations at this stage in terms of very specific issues that we're discussing, and because we haven't even concluded.
Right.
And even if we have made conclusions, not every member of the committee may be on board on some specific resolution or some specific outcome of our resolutions. And so I am minded that I am participating in this program also as an individual, even though I'm a secretary, I speak for the committee sometimes.
Right.
So in terms of definiteness, a definite pronouncement on specific conclusion that we have reached, that will be in the report. Yeah. And then very soon, the public will have the benefit of the full report that we're going to produce. But having said that, I know that if there were certain words that were introduced in that particular provision, like consecutive, it would have answered the question. And so we are minded to bring some clarity to it. But that clarity does not mean that there's an interpretation to it done. That is what I would have to say on this matter.
On the issue of the 66. Okay, so then let's start
with and also tied to that, yes, on the issue of the provision.
Yes.
Yes, we tied it. We are minded to bring some clarity, you know, in a form that is more clear, so that it does not lead itself to the various interpretations that people want to bring on it. But that doesn't mean there's an interpretation to be done necessarily.
Yeah, I'm asking the question because of the number of engagements you've done. In your interaction with, the public, the various stakeholders, are they raising the concern about the fact that, and I'm sure that it will come mostly from the political parties, are they beginning to raise that concern that 4 years or perhaps 8 years may not be enough for a president to execute, his entire plan? It may be too short for some.
Yeah, so this is a separate issue from the constitutional interpretive issue that we're dealing with. So that has come up. It has come up during. So what the committee did, if I may just take you a little bit back, what the committee did was to phase out our interactions with the public. First of all, we had the stakeholder engagement, and we clustered the constitutions into various clusters, not necessarily on the chapters of the constitution, but various clusters of the constitution: on the executive, which is the subject matter for discussion this morning, the legislature, independent constitutional bodies, lands and natural resources, political parties, some other institutions of state, SOEs, state-owned enterprises, and all of that, decentralization and local government. So under each of the clusters, we had stakeholders, we had experts, we had academia, we have people that have worked and cut their teeth in these areas, CSOs, people that have invested a lot of energy. We have had discussions with people that are, by virtue of their close proximity to the Constitution, former ministers. We have had discussions with every living president, President Akufo, President Akufo-Addo. The sitting president himself was our stakeholder, as President Mahama. And all of them proffered certain opinions on this subject matter. We also subsequently had what we call zonal engagement, and throughout the zonal engagement, that also came up as to is the 4-year tenure. The concern had to do with the first and the last year. Okay, so the thinking was that the view that the majority expressed was that the first year, the president, having been elected and sworn into office, is putting his cabinet and putting his government together, right? So that was part of it. And that the last year, in our practice, is usually used in organizing election, or the governance of the country is distracted by the political activity and then the heat of politics in the last year. And so the argument was that basically then we have 2 years to govern the country.
Yeah.
This was the predominant thought of those who profess opinions or views on the subject matter. Now, but there are counter arguments for everything. If you are president and you intend to govern the country, you are running on a ticket of a major political party, there's probability of win. You are acting in concert and together with a number of your compatriots, a number of your people. We know. So a president should be able to form his cabinet within a very short period of time, knowing what he wants to do. You want to run a 24-hour economy, you know the hands in which you can put this major project on. You want to run a certain foreign relations, you know who the foreign minister should be. You want to revamp your agricultural economy. You want to be inclusive. You want to expand land tenure. You want to ensure that Galamsey is not all of these things. I think that the president should be able to deal with them,
right.
And know who is working with and all of that.
For the sake of time, you mean to tell us that all three ex-presidents are clear that, and there's some sort of consensus even beyond that, that the presidential term limit may not be enough. There's a need to do something about it, not just yeah.
Yes, it certainly came up. It certainly came up. Not all the ex-presidents, not all the president, but it certainly came up. I don't want to mention names, but of course, the report will include all of that. But it certainly came up among the presidents, among eminent persons, among even consultants who worked in the 1992 Constitution. And so it is one area we are definitely looking at.
Okay, well, when will this report be ready?
We, the whole of September, at the end of September, I think that we should have a draft report for the public because we have just finished. Like I told you, I've been working the entire night. Yeah. I just haven't had any sleep. I'm just waking up now to have this engagement. Right. So within the next 4 or 5 weeks, we should have a draft to work with.
Okay, Dr. Reina, because this is an inclusive show, we have audience and also my guest here. Perhaps some of them may have questions for you. Solomon, let me start off with you. You have any question for Dr. Reina? Because they've been working extensively. It says eminent Ghanaians, and some people have raised. You know.
I mean, so far they have not reached the decision point, so I would wait for them to, as it were, conclude, so that whatever. But from what we have stated, the 2-term limit is enough.
That's what you think?
I believe it's enough. We don't have to encourage. What we'd rather have to do is to let those that want to be president of this country come out with clear-cut plans and policies. That is what we are lacking. You cannot just get up and tomorrow you say you want to be president without any plan. Show us what you want to do in the agriculture sector, education, health, sports, and local government. So that with that, we know you are prepared. So in terms of that, unless they come out with their final, as it were.
Is there anything of interest to you that you want us to iron out with this opportunity of the constitutional review?
Yes, I believe that, number one, we need to, as it were, look at emoluments for presidents.
Okay.
I don't think that if you are here and you are mismanaging multimedia and you go out of this place, you have to continuously be paid. As we speak, former presidents who didn't perform, they are still collecting salaries. We need to take a second look at it.
Oh, you want us to cut that?
Of course.
I mean,
No. Listen, why must we continue to pay presidents who came to mismanage? Then it means we would be, as it were, encouraging mismanagement.
For now, we are paying only 3.
It's a huge, it's a tall.
Who would you take out of that list?
I would have taken Akufo-Addo out of it.
Straight up. Straight up. You don't want us to pay him? Or to provide him? He's a former president.
If you are a former president, I gave you my tax revenue to manage it well. You understand? Are you with me?
I'm with you. Yeah.
You are with me on this. Yeah. Manage it well with me. Then you use $97 million of my revenue to go and dig a hole. Whereas we have a current president who is traveling 22 hours to Japan to go and solicit for almost the same amount to come and invest in our agriculture, and you are sitting where you are being paid. What is the motivation for you to perform as a president? Then there is no motivation, because whatever you do, in whichever way you mismanage the economy, you will still be rewarded after your tenure.
Are you sure your opinion is popular now? Because a lot of people will challenge you on that.
You open the phone lines.
Even Alan Chiramante.
Look, Allah will agree with me 100%, because then there are KPIs. which managing director or which shareholder benefits from non-performing company? Your performance or your salaries must be equated to how well you manage the economy of the country. But if you come and mismanage it and you are still being paid, then for me, a second look has to be taken critically of it.
Dr. Reina, are you taking a look at that? The issue about ex-gratia, has it come up? I'm not sure you're looking at President Akufo-Addo and taking him off the list, but...
Okay, thank you so much. So that's a big topic in terms of aligning the certain compensation package for public officers, not just the executive. But concerns have been raised, especially over Article 71. The view is that it is discriminatory. That's, if I say the view, I'm talking about the collections of opinions that we have harvested from the public and experts. That it is discriminatory, it is arbitrary, because the committees that are set up to do so must do so in the view of the prevailing package that's available also to other public holders and the benefit scheme in the entire public sector. So there's opportunity for us to align it and ensure that we don't operate in this kind of, there's apprehension.
So that we pay them, we pay them salaries, yes.
If you like.
So that we pay them salaries, you mean?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, there are paid salaries. But if you look at Article 71 holders, for instance, these are a class of people that do not necessarily emerge from the regular public system.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
In terms of graduation, in terms of longevity, because there's uncertainty surrounding political office, how long they stay, and the compromises they may have to give. This is not any argument for...
I get that.
71, but especially so because we are looking at it, we're likely to have a situation where we'd have a commission that will look at a more comprehensive system of package for public officials. Yes.
Okay, so let me take all the concerns and then package it for you so we can close the chapter on this. Ivan, you have any expectation of, this?
Yes, I think the wings of the president to a certain extent must be clipped, because
with our constitutional review.
Because the powers are quite excessive, and we need to do something about it, because those privileges are very overreaching and very consequential. And if you're not fortunate and you have somebody who decide to act anyhow as president, you may put the country in danger. So I think the Constitutional Review Committee will have to look at the powers of the president. But we cannot live in a country where an individual is given the privilege of appointing over 10,000 people and over. For me, it doesn't make sense. And again, there is massive institutional framework, institutional weaknesses that we need to work on. Because if you look at how our state institutions have been operating in recent times, they easily cow or pander to executive influences. I think we need to build robust state institutions that will be very effective and very independent of the executive, so that they will not be cow into that kind of submission, those kind of influences by the executive. If we are able to streamline this in a constitutional fashion, yes, I understand there are laws that regulate some of these things, but how independent are these institutions? You understand? For instance, if you look at the Electoral Commission, that is an institution that must engender public trust and confidence. But if it is seen as an institution that is pandering to conveniences, that kind of stuff, you break public trust. So I think that is another thing that we need to look at. And then, yes, there are several portions of the 1992 Constitution that I must say have outlived their usefulness relative to where we are now. And I think the Constitutional Review Committee have a tough task. It's good they are engaging Ghanaians, and I think the engagement must continue, and whatever that comes up, I think should be captured.
Well, for you, what's your expectation from the committee? He says the report might be ready in, say, by the end of September, he says.
Yes, since it's in embryonic stage, that they are yet to bring out some the draft, I think we'll leave it like that. But what I will want to see is some appointments of some Article 71 office holders, for instance.
Oh, you also support that?
Yes, the police chief. Today, look at what Owusu is doing. you understand, he's bowing to pressure by the executive and so on.
Why are you all picking and choosing who should be excluded from Article 71?
You see,
so Solomon says the former president Akufo-Addo should not be included.
No,
you are also saying
I'm not even saying. I'm not saying that the IGP, but I'm talking about the appointment of these officers.
People, yeah.
For instance, the police chief, the CDS, the electoral commissioner, the Shraj, and so on.
Yeah.
When we look at countries like the US and the UK, there are processes that someone will pass through to rise to that stage.
Yeah.
So there will not be any influence from the executive to do what the person will, does not want to do. And so that's why I'm saying that if they are able to really correct all these things so that the president's powers of appointing these people will help us have independent institutions. We have all the laws that will make them independent. We don't need any set of laws to make them independent. But unfortunately, because they bow to the pressure from the executive, I think if we're able to really correct some things like this, it will help us a lot.
I see. Let's go into the audience. Then I put that to Dr. Reina. Yes, go ahead.
All right. So I will just add just a few things. So I think the president wants to enjoy power.
And a lot of people might want to know you as well. So
So my name is Adrian Kese. That's my name.
Right.
So the president wants to enjoy power. That is what he wants to do. Because everything he's supposed to, like, you have to do it for the past 4 years, the time he came to power, he was supposed to, all those things were supposed to be done. You understand? Right now, he's just asking, he wanted for another, that is what his people were saying, that he should go for another 4 years and again. And I think the Constitution is saying it clear, which limits you to only...
Are you sure his people are asking for another 4 years?
Yes. A lot of people, that is the NDC, his camp. That is what you average Ghanaians are not saying that Mahama should go for another 4 years. No. No one is saying that. He feels like he wants to enjoy more power. You understand? Power is sweet, so he wants to do it. At the end of the day, you just have to make sure that when you are elected to the office, you will get the job done so that you won't be asking for all these things. You understand? Get the job done so that you won't be asking for all these things. And I think that is the problem right now. They won't get the job done and they will be asking for more, which is very bad. But once the Constitution is stating it clear...
Yeah, but when you raise the point, of course, many will point you to what former President Akufo has often said, that, look, let's review how we deal with the presidential term limits. Because, and you've heard that from Dr. Reina, that the first year, the focus is on the appointments, the last year is about elections.
Yes, but I think that when it comes to this kind of issues, they have to make sure that the reason why they voted for you is to get the job done. You understand? How long is going to take you, or the Ghanaians people are expecting from you is to get a job done.
Yeah.
That is the reason why you are voted into the office.
I'm sure your colleague beside you disagrees because he belongs to the other side. What do you think about this?
President John Dramani Mahama is a very tactical man. He has been in the system before. He went back, saw the shortcoming of the other side and came back again. He has planned very well as to how he's going by his things. As of now, all that he has said, he has tried as much as possible to tackle almost everything. And then I don't know where or when my colleague here heard that his people are chanting for a third term for him.
So no one in the NDC is pushing for that?
I have never seen any communique from the NDC saying they want a third term for John Dramani Mahama. I have never seen that. Yes. And I don't know how sweet the power would be to you than developing the country as we are seeing now.
Yeah. Great points there. Your colleague behind also wants to make an intervention, briefly.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Isaac Arumia, Team Communication Officer for TEN ATU. I don't really agree with my brother here that Mahama wants to go for another term, and also the party executives are all rally behind him for that. Yeah, but that's what per your statement. That's what you mean. Yeah, and also if necessary, Mahama is going for another third term. Me, for what I have to say on this matter is, when someone is doing something good why not support him? I'm not really in support of. Oh yes. And also, the Ashantis has a proverb that says
by that suggesting that, well, he should be giving another term if the opportunity
I'm
comes?
not really suggesting that Mama should go for a third term, but my suggestion is that when someone is doing something good, why not support the person?
So you're supporting that?
No, I'm not really support of that, but it's a suggestion.
Right, I see.
When someone, that's why the Ashantis has a proverb that the food the upper and a piano. What they are saying. So I'm not really saying that Mama should go for a third term. And also the constitution too. The constitution can be amended. It's not that rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be amended at any time.
Okay, controversial point.
It will pass through a process. We all know.
All right.
Yeah, but we are not saying that necessarily Mama should go for a third term. No,
okay.
We are not saying that.
Let's close the chapter on this. Dr. Reina, so you've heard all the collective points there as to what should be done. The next steps for you, will you be mindful of all of these concerns? Dr. Reina, are you with us? And kindly unmute so we can hear the points you're making, sir.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So let me just quickly point out that when I spoke about first and last year, it was a view that I was sharing from the public and the collections of opinions that we have harvested from our stakeholder and zone engagement. It's not a personal view that I'm expressing, even though we are looking at the presidential term limit. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Right. So that's a view that has been expressed, and it's part of the reasons why people might want, some extension. But your panelists, Ivan and Awal, spoke about the independence from constitutional bodies. That is a cluster that we have created, and it's a huge opportunity for the committee to review it in terms of, so there are two conjoint issues. The issue of the powers of the president, that is one leg you can look at it. And then the enormity of the task in appointing over thousands of people, sometimes that he doesn't even know personally, to bring on board to govern this country. And so we have created a cluster for independent constitutional bodies. We are looking at their formal independence in terms of appointment, their financial autonomy, which is part of an element of independence, security of office, non-interference, and all of that, with a view that we can give them oxygen to be able to execute the tasks that have been given to them by the Constitution and the expectations of Ghanaians. And so, they're right on. The president alone cannot do it all.
Okay.
So from now on, we want to express our appreciation to Ghanaians, those that, in fact, every zone that we went, we had the collaboration and cooperation of chiefs, tendanas, elders, CSOs, market women, youth groups, all the universities. We thank them so much. And at this point, we can all work together and expect that the best can come out of this for benefit.
Okay. And thank you for working for God and country, hoping that report will be out and we'll all dig in. Thank you, Dr. Reina Akumperega, Executive Secretary to the Constitutional Review Committee, joining us this morning and closing the chapter on the Constitutional Review.